Good evening, Web3 TV. My name is Ornella Hernandez, and today I am at the DIFC in Dubai at an event co-hosted by Coinvesting and by Cambridge AI Studio. I am with one of the speakers tonight, Hakim. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So you are the CEO and co-founder of NannyML.
Yes.
What is NannyML? Does it have anything to do with nannies?
No. Well, yes, actually it does. So we babysit AI and machine learning models. That's why it's called NannyML. So we basically provide a set of tools for machine learning and AI practitioners to be able to know how their models are performing at all times. And if there's a change in performance, get alerted about it. Because like humans, AI has to be babysitted.
Yeah. I like how you said that. You were like, just like humans, machines also need to be managed,
Yeah.
updated. They need to know, the newest information. So
Exactly.
why is that? Why do we need to constantly babysit them?
So basically, it's indeed just like humans. We live in a changing world. So the world is always changing, which means that the data that our systems collect is always changing, which means that the data that a model learns goes out of style over time. And so you always have to keep, first of all, knowing how the model is doing, and so what decisions it's taking, what predictions it's making, and then also if it's doing worse than you expected, you then have to know, okay, something in the world has changed, we have to update the model, teach it new things, so it can then operate in this new world, just like people.
Okay. And what's been the best and the worst parts about having to oversee these different types of AI models? Any horror stories in there?
Yeah. So the best parts is kind of seeing all the different ways people are applying AI, and that's like super interesting, like across all kinds of companies, like everything from manufacturing to finance. And so like when you're like this kind of middle layer where you're like babysitting all types of AI, you get to see a little bit of everything. And I find that very interesting. The horror stories is seeing it's the same thing almost, what people are using all of this AI for,
Right.
and then also for sometimes how, I don't want to say bad, but like the principles in which they build the AI is not that great, and you can see that it's not performing that well, and it like, yeah, probably that AI should not be deployed in the real world, and that's like, yeah, telling people that is always sometimes not nice.
Yeah. Do you think that there's a way to program these machines to be more truthful, more ethical, less biased? Should we be doing that?
That's a very good question. I sigh because the problem is the AI is only as biased as we are,
Right.
because the data is generated from our human activity. So what I always tell people is, if we can measure and make sure that it's less biased than humans, and that might sound kind of bad, but if it's less biased and more truthful than we are, then technically we should be using them, even if they're not perfect.
Maybe we can learn something from them?
Yeah, we maybe might be able to learn something from them.
Okay. And so you said you work with a lot of clients that are in manufacturing, financial sector, retail. So what are some of these use cases that they are using AI tools for?
So one of the big ones that we've seen really a lot recently is predictive maintenance. So basically they have machines in their factories and they want to predict when to maintain them. And so they build these AI systems that like look at all the data coming out of the machines, and then they say like, okay, you should maintain this machine, you should change this part, you should do this, you should do that. And
That's handy.
yeah, and it can normally be a lot better than a human, because normally when the human systems are around, you just do it on a schedule. But then not every machine is working the same. Some machines have different age, and then they can break and they get more downtime in their factories and bad things happen. And so a lot of the manufacturing sector is switching to these like AI-based models.
Oh, okay. And also
Yeah.
for demand, right? Like to know how
Yeah.
much of a certain product maybe they need to order for their supply chain and all that.
Yeah, exactly. Predicting the demand. Also, a lot of retailers and supermarkets also do the big demand forecasting right now in these huge systems, so that they can optimize their supply chain and make sure that the products that you want are on the shelves in the supermarket when you go there.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And are there any use cases that you would like to see more of? Like if there were no limitations with tech, like what would you make with your hands?
Uh, that's very good. You're asking good questions. What would I like to, actually, the medical AI use cases. That just what came to my mind, because, unfortunately, with the medical world, it's like, I mean, fortunately, and I don't want to just say unfortunately, it's highly regulated, right? But I sometimes feel that doctors are a little bit protecting their own jobs. And I really think like, okay, maybe a model doesn't, or an AI doesn't have to be as good as a doctor, but imagine giving access to 1 million people to someone that's like an okay doctor, And it's like you could argue that's better than them having no doctor at all,
Yeah.
especially in the developing world and in other places. But there's a lot of regulatory and ethical discussions around it, but I always feel that I would rather have some doctor than no doctor at all.
True. Same.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
All right. And then would you like to live in a fully AI enabled world? Like, are we actually working towards that already?
I think you'd be surprised. I think a lot of things, like, the thing is, it's a little bit of a hype right now. What is AI and what is not AI? I mean, banks have been doing credit scoring for 50 years, right?
Right. It's nothing new.
No,
It's
nothing
just
new.
that the hype because of ChatGPT,
Yeah.
everyone's talking about it.
Yeah, but I actually think I would like to live in a more AI-enabled world. But
Okay. So you'd
humans,
rather more things be automated
yeah,
then? That's
yeah,
what that means?
yeah. But together, like with humans, I think what we should be doing is automating the boring stuff that nobody really wants to do, the dangerous stuff, the things that we're just not very good at.
Yeah.
And then the things that we do like to like to use the AI as a co-pilot. As I mean, they're all called co-pilots, right? Help us be more creative, help us create more content, and I mean, AI can't take that away from us at the end of the day. People
Right.
are so afraid of it, but it's like, at the end of the day, if Microsoft makes a bunch of AI that generates images, and people are like, no, I still want to create art, humans will always be able to create that unique art.
Of
So
course. Of course.
I think it's just a tool that we can use to do what we love more. So
To enhance our own abilities.
yeah.
All
Yeah.
right, all right. And what is the best way for someone to get in touch with you, Hakim, or to learn more about NannyML?
So following me on LinkedIn, Hakim Elakhrass at LinkedIn. That's our main content platform because we target businesses and data scientists. So
Okay.
I post a lot of videos, contents, articles.
Oh,
Yeah.
amazing.
Make a lot of jokes and memes. So it's funny because it's LinkedIn, but it's pretty funny.
Memes
so.
are the way to go. That's
They
what
are.
people like. Gotta
I
give
say,
it to them.
yeah, I say I do like meme-driven sales.
Okay. Do you make any blockchain memes by
I
chance?
don't make
No?
any
Okay.
blockchain memes. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Hakim.
Thanks a lot.
And everyone, go check out NannyML if you're interested, and stay tuned for more interviews coming out of the event tonight.